Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm Mary, Get Strong with Mary. I'm thrilled to be able to be here and speak with you. I'm also thrilled that I'm back outside. It's in the high 40s, but a lot warmer than it has been. But I love coming out now because the birds think it's spring. So many different places, when I'm stepping outside, the birds are just chirping, and that makes me very happy because I love the snow. I think it's beautiful, but spring is definitely my time of year, and primarily because you may have heard me say before, I am solar powered. I am sun driven, and I hope I can say that I'm sun driven, like SUN, and I pray to be also sun driven, SON, as in doing all the things that are making God happy with me and my choices. And of course, I'll never always get it right, but I can always try. So on this Saturday morning, I mentioned to you that February is Heart Month. Of course, we've already passed by Valentine's Day. And so when we talk about, Heart Month, it's all about taking care of your heart and being healthy. And I've been mentioning a couple of times this author, Dr. Ray Strand. I love the fact that if you go to Amazon and you type in Ray Strand, you'll get all of his books. And many of them you can do a preview. So you can preview the books just like you're in a bookstore, but you've got it on your phone or tablet or Kindle, whatever device you use, and you can take your time to look through it. In this day and age, I think it's a really great thing to find a trusted author that you can turn to for reference and information. And to me, he's a really great gentleman. Of course, he is a physician. He was like a general practitioner, and then when his wife had some issues that could not be treated successfully with traditional medicine, he began to look at the alternatives of nutraceuticals, or things that we now call supplements. Of course, supplements, when done right, as they are in Partner Co, supplements are from farm to pharmaceuticals, as they like to say. It's another source of food. It's from the ground into the product. So on the front of one of his books, or the chapter, he says that it's not just about, losing weight. So many times there's so much emphasis on losing weight, and that really frustrates me, particularly for women, because, God made us in a certain way to be soft and tender. And it's not about the losing weight, but the reason that is brought up so much is because, we can't look in the mirror and see inside of our bodies every day. But we can look in the mirror or get an idea of, or put on our clothes and see if they're getting tighter. We can get an idea. And not always does that mean, if you feel like you look that you've gained a little weight, or if your clothes are getting tighter, it does not always mean that there are health risks there. But if we are carrying excess fat, now there's muscle which has weight, and there's fat which has weight. So if we're carrying excess fat in our body, then it can have a negative impact on our health. And part of the reason for that is where the fat comes from in the first place. Before all of what we eat gets to be fat, what does it go through? And therefore, when the fat is there, why does that mean there could be an issue? So he says it's not just about losing weight, diabetes, and heart disease. And he quotes Virginia Woolf: "One cannot think well, love well, or sleep well if one has not dined." Okay, so let's go back again. One cannot think well, love well, or sleep well if one has not dined well. So dining well, today we think about whole food nutrition, things that you can get as close to the ground as possible. Obviously, you are in certain places, you're not going to be able to go out to your backyard and pull up some salmon from the ground. So you're going to have to most likely buy your trusted salmon from your trusted grocer and keep it in the freezer. There are some fresh options, of course, but sometimes you have to be practical too. For a family of 2 in our house, it's hard to buy something that we can eat quickly enough if it's like fresh salmon, but that would be your best option. So we know that healthy food, whole foods, help your brain, they help you think well, they help you love other people, but just love life. That's that longevity and joy that I'm talking about. So it helps you love because you have the energy to love the things that you want to do, the energy to love events and activities with your family members, and then to sleep well. So whole food also helps you sleep well. Now, even with all of these things, this is when Partner Co. comes into play because of the way our food is sourced today. And not only that, but because of all the environmental stresses that we have on our body. So this is something that Dr. Ray Strand stressed when I saw him at a conference a couple of weeks ago, is that it's not just the food source that has been changed because of the pesticides that we use to help it grow, or maybe because of the modifications we make, but our environment in general. Just think about the things that I have at my age that I didn't have when I was my children's age. We have all of the computers, all of the cell phones, so much technology, which I really love and appreciate, but our environment has changed, which therefore is impacting our bodies too, the oxidation of our bodies. So that's a little bit technical, and I say go to Ray Strand. He's got just amazing, I love the way that he explains things. But my point to you is, why now do we need these supplements? Why do we need the nutritional supplements? Well, because of our environment, the way it interacts with our body now, the chemicals, and also it's the foods cannot be as good as they used to be when we buy them in bulk. So because it's heart health, I am going to refer you. I'm going to put in the chat, I'm going to put in there a link to my website, Get Strong with Mary. Now, I was going to hold off on this because the website is under construction. I have 2 wonderful people who've been working on it. I say one, Gerard, is the architect, and then I have another one, Kimberly, and I say she's the interior designer. So I have 2 people coming together to help it just help represent what I am hoping to share in my heart with you. So that is under construction. So the one, as you go to my website, I do want you to look under the resources tab, and you will see some information on heart health. And it's there for you to read. There's a recipe that's very simple. I like to look at recipes, and if I can knock them down to 3 or 4 ingredients, I like to do that because I want something, quick and simple. Cooking is not my joy. Sometimes I enjoy certain recipes. Occasionally my brother will come over, for dinner, and I really enjoy cooking for him. But when it's 2 people, and if one person's not hungry and the other person wants to eat this, it gets a little complicated. So keep those recipes as simple as you want them. So the first things, I've got 6 quick tips here for your heart health. And the first is to fuel your body with this nutrient-rich foods. Well, that's what I've been talking about, food from the ground. And simply put, anything that you want to avoid. Food that's in a box, in a can, or in a bag. Now, if you come to some frozen vegetables, that is exception. Those are things that they have maintained their nutrients, are going to be in your freezer. But you know what all of that talks to, the chips that are in the bag, the snacks, the cookies that are in the bag, cereals, unfortunately, all of those things. And you want to go with your whole grains, you want healthy fats, you want healthy foods. Now, I love to talk about macronutrients, and I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just going to say to you that your macronutrients are your fibers, your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. Of all of those that I've said, there are healthy choices of each, and there are unhealthy choices of each. So I have a whole little Saturday seminar that I do on that, but you want to choose your healthy carbs, your healthy fats, your healthy proteins, and your healthy fiber. That's important to your diet. Along with that, and the number 2 thing, you want to stay active. The simplest, easiest, cheapest thing that you can do is to stay active is walking. And find a walking buddy if you can, or just set your watch or timer for, say you're going to go 5 minutes out and 5 minutes back, and when that 5 minutes is up, if you have more energy, then you're going to go ahead and walk longer. But the only thing you need to invest in eventually when you're walking is a comfortable pair of shoes. Other than that, anything goes. So walking is very, very good for you. Other things, if it's summer and you have access to a pool, that's also awesome. The other thing that's extremely important when you're staying active, especially when you get to be 55 and older, both men and women, is you need to do some strength training. Now, this does not have to be complicated. And again, I have a whole thing on this on a Saturday series that talks about strength training that you can do. But simply doing squats when you're standing in the kitchen while you're waiting for water to boil, or you're waiting for your product, your food to cook, you can do those squats. You can always take cans out of the shelves and just do overhead presses with those cans. You can take those same cans and just push them back. It doesn't have to be fancy. Also, when you're walking, that is a weight-bearing exercise that's really good for your bones. So walking covers a lot of the bases, but don't forget your strength training. That develops your core. Your core then helps you remain upright and helps with your balance. And we know how tricky that can get as we get older. You can just lay down on the floor. I literally came out yesterday on the porch. Back here, there was just a little bit of sun. The hammock was wet. There was no place I could sit. So I laid down. I had this little teeny hot tub. Awesome product, very reasonably priced. Had it for about 15 years now. Looked at it for 15 years before I bought it. But I just laid on the top, and right on the edge of the, coming around the edge of the house, there was just a little bit of sun. So I got about 10 minutes of sun. It wasn't really warm, but the temperature wasn't warm, but the sun felt great. And of course, getting your vitamins from the sun is good. But on top of that tub, I just did some crunches. I was like, I'm not just going to lay here. I've been at the hospital with my husband, haven't been able to get in the exercise that I usually get. So I just did some crunches, and that's literally just lifting your shoulders up off of the ground. But that strengthens your abdominal muscles, and your abdominal muscles are your core, and your core is really, really important for helping your overall strength and mobility. So let's go back. First one, fuel your body with nutrient-rich whole foods, and then stay active. And number 3, manage your stress wisely. So we all know, or you may have heard of by now, that the hormones in your body, insulin and cortisol. Cortisol is produced by stress, and cortisol helps increase that abdominal or that visceral fat that we have on our bellies. So I now have gotten, I say like jokingly, but also just to keep this in mind, I'll say, instead of saying, I don't want that stress, I'm not going to do that. I don't want that cortisol. I don't want that cortisol. I don't want that in my belly. Cortisol is one of the hormones that our body balancing drops help with, along with insulin. And that is why our body balancing drops are so amazing. They help your health. It's not about weight. If you need to lose weight, you will lose weight with these, but it's about health. So they're going to help you with that cortisol. So on Tuesday, talked a little bit about control, and it was just talking about, when do you have control of things and what does it mean? So I'm working on a whole little presentation about control, but I'll give you a clue that even though people joke about somebody being a control freak or trying to take control of everything, what if taking control of some things could help your health immensely? What if that could be the difference of taking more control? Or what if you said to your friends, you may think that I am trying to control everything, but for me, I'm trying to control my stress, which impacts my health negatively if I'm highly stressed. So that's coming. That little presentation will be coming, and as soon as it's finished, I will share it with you. So that's just some food for thought. So you want to eat right, you want to keep moving, you want to control your stress, and then you also want to have quality sleep. And once again, I just have to say our body balancing drops help with sleep too, because it's helped balance all of the hormones throughout the day. But quality sleep is so important, and that is because it's the time that your body is rebuilding and repairing itself. If you are not sleeping well, poor sleep can be linked to obesity, high blood pressure, of course, lack of energy just because you're tired. So they're still recommending that you strive for at least 7 hours of sleep each night, 7 to 9. And of course, if you have difficulty sleeping, there are some things that there's some procedures, some process and steps you can take to help with that as well. Okay, so fuel your body with whole foods, stay active, manage your stress, sleep well. And then this one is important, and this you need a little help with from your doctor, and that is to monitor your health numbers. Know what your cholesterol is, know what your healthy, your HDL is, know what your LDL is, know what all of that means. Ask your doctor. And when almost everyone today, now I know there are some people, not calling out my brother, but I will. There are some people that avoid technology at all costs. But if you do not avoid technology and you do have access to having your tests sent to a health chart electronically, that's a great way to pull things up, because typically there is something you can tap on or click on that will tell you more about your results too. But most importantly, everyone that I have seen, every report that I've seen on any type of health chart, it lets you know when you look at that score, where does it lie? Is it low? Is it good, right in the middle, or is it high? So those are important things to know, because some of those things, if you are in the middle but approaching the high end, then from my viewpoint, that's when we want to be a little proactive. Like, oh, I'm in the green, but I'm way at the top end of the green, almost ready to go into the red, which is not optimal. What can I do to address this? So there are things that you can learn from your health reports. So to finish up here, you're going to fuel your body with appropriate whole food nutrition. You're going to stay active. You're going to manage your stress weekly. You're going to sleep well. And lastly, if you smoke, stop. I mean, I'm just saying, do whatever you can to stop smoking. Take it seriously. It's not good for anything. It may make you feel that you are less stressful or stressed out. I understand people say, but there are many things that you can do to help with that, particularly now. Not judging if you smoke, but it is just nothing about it is good for your health. It impacts your insides, which you can't see. Smoking also will impact your outside, your skin, your hair. And a lot of times people that smoke a lot, you can also see it in their hands because they're holding the cigarette. So we are very lucky to know today all of the reasons why smoking is not good. And also there's more things than ever to help you kick that habit. And along with that, you want to moderate your alcohol. So if you are, a drinker, occasional glass of whatever you prefer might be beneficial. Not saying it'll be beneficial, but won't be as harmful if you were drinking all the time. But you just want to do those things in moderation. Also, if you're looking to, when you, and I have to admit, I do love a glass of red wine occasionally. That is very relaxing to me. So when I have a glass of wine, it's not for anything other than really it's just the relaxation. But I don't do it. I never used to drink wine at all. And then I retired. I would hardly not drink anything. A little bit when I was younger, of course, but then during my working years and parenting, I just never had time. I really just didn't have the time to even think about relaxing. But once I retired and had more time, even though I unretired myself and started really working again, I had more free time. I was in charge of my own schedule. But once I learned that, when you're trying to burn fat on a regular basis, and this whole idea of fat, once again, is not about how you look. It's about the fat, in your body, the extra fat that we women get naturally around our bellies. But when you're drinking wine, your fat burning process is going to stop for a bit, because your body is going to burn the alcohol that's in the drink for its energy. If the alcohol is not there to be burned for energy, then your body will burn the fat. And that was kind of really interesting to me. Your body will go first to burn carbohydrates, any carbohydrates. That's why sometimes we talk about eat those healthy carbs. If your body is full of carbohydrates, then your body will use those carbohydrates for energy, but the fat stays where it is. If you are cycling your carbohydrates, or that means the days that you're eating less carbohydrates, then your body is it's not going to be there to use, so it's going to have to go in and use that fat for energy. So that's kind of, I was really fascinated when I learned about that, the whole idea of carbohydrates and fats and how the body uses them for energy. Our bodies are fascinating, and it's always interesting to me to learn more. I will just say that please, again, go to the website that I have. We'll be adding more to it, but the one that you'll see is the original. But go under resources, and you'll see heart health, and you'll see some heart health tips for women. There's a recipe or two there. We'll be adding to that, and soon you'll see a whole new look that's coming up. And I urge you to really take a look at, it's all about your heart. And as some of you heard me say, my husband, who's had some heart issues, had a new one appear, and it did take him to the hospital. And the good news is that we had the hospital to go to, and that he got there, in time. They also changed up a little bit of his regimen. Some of the medicines that he'd been prescribed were not the best for his heart. This is why I always like to think very carefully and look at, what I'm being prescribed. There are medicines that we absolutely have to have, and we're very blessed to have them, so I'm not bashing that. I can say that he did switch out 4 medicines, and then they put in 3 new ones, so he kind of traded off there. But when we had to go through his medicine and switch out some things, he just got the saddest look on his face, and I was trying to read it, and I said, are you frustrated? And he said, I'm frustrated when I look at all that medicine. Now, he has been on the same amount of medicine almost since I've known him. We've been married 15 years, I think, and we dated for 5. So over a 20-year period, he's been on the same amount of medicine. But finally, he looked at it, and he wasn't happy with what he saw. It is a lot. Now, I take a lot of vitamins and nutritional supplements, but they're things that I know that are going to just do good things for my body. It's still not as much as he has to take. So my message to you is take care of your heart, take care of yourself, take care of your health. It's easier in a way to do than it ever has been before, because we have so much research, we have information. It also can be more difficult because we also have more fast food options. We sometimes are misled. But there are enough people out there fighting for our health and wellness. Our entire company in Partner Co. We want health and wellness for ourselves. We want it for our family members. We want it for our friends. We all just want everyone to be healthy. So why my personal thing? So they can experience the health, the wellness, the longevity, and joy. So make a commitment to look at something at your health. What is one thing you would like to improve? Whether it's walking, one of these 6 areas, find something that you want to improve. Maybe it's just that you have no idea what your numbers are. Then go to your doctor's office or call them and ask them to send you the latest report. So go to my website, go under resources. What are the 6 heart healthy tips? Look at those tips, choose one area that you want to do one thing with, just to be proactive. And just getting a little bit proactive will help you build more and more so that you can be the healthy person that you want to be and enjoy life. And with that being said, thank you again for tuning in. If there is anything that I have said that you think someone would enjoy, please share it. You can follow me on Facebook, Mary Pulliam Fink. And then my Instagram is Get Strong with Mary. And again, I will put my website in the comments so you can visit there. Have an amazing day. Now, it's almost spring today, but guess what? Snow tomorrow, maybe. This is the craziest ever, but you know what? I'm very happy to be alive and well, sitting out here with the birds in the background saying, have a great day. Be kind to others, and also remember to be kind to yourself. Take care, guys.